Olympic Games in Lillehammer. Now they're set to wage their own battle at the World Championships. Barb and Paul, let's take a look at the required elements for the men's short program.
Chris, like last evening's pairs competition, the men are required to do 8 elements in this program. And Barb, like the side-by-side double axles of last evening, do you think there's a key element here today?
Definitely the jump combination has the highest risk and is the key element. Now, most of the top skaters will be performing the triple axel double toe loop combination, and that is where we will likely see the most mistakes here today.
Off the top of our show, Peter Mansbridge and Pamela Wallen talked about famous couples, and we have a special treat tonight. Japanese Crown Prince Hiranamiya and Princess Masako are in attendance. Their wedding celebration 9 months ago captivated all of Japan, was watched around the world, and they are the honored guests of ISU President Olaf Paulsson tonight, and were welcomed with a standing ovation. Well, here's the moment most fans have been waiting for. Philippe Candeloro of France, and as Philippe steps onto the ice, some of the lights go down here. And he has caused some electrical short-circuiting since qualifying when he wowed everybody. They littered the ice with flowers. He is certainly the fan favorite here, judging from qualifying. The bronze medalist from the Olympic Games.
Well, the lights noticeably went down here, Chris. We still have a picture, but I noticed the referee had looked around and made a note of the fact that the lights have gone down, but they've decided that it's not enough to alter what's about to take place on the ice.
The key here is definitely the triple axel combination. He went down on it once in the warm-up, singled it again. He's only done it once out of 15 skates. There we go. Wow.
You must like that Olympic feeling. Second major jump element, triple lots. Oh! Hangs on, a little turn tucked onto the back end of that landing. Certainly come to this World Championship with a complete package, as both this technical program and his long program are from the Godfather, and he's more or less setting the stage here for his long program performance as he finishes his technical.
Well, with this small error after the triple lutz, the turn on the landing, there is no major deduction, as the flowers are just flying down. They're actually hitting some of the judges in the back of the head. The flowers just landed on the judge's desk there.
Yes, welcome to the Makuhari Flower Shop.
Here's Philippe's opening triple axel double toe combination, which was perhaps the finest element in this program. And Barb, as you mentioned, we're looking at his replay on the triple lutz. He's landed this jump. There's the landing. Now he tucks on a little turn on the back end. So what the judges have to do is evaluate the quality of that landing. There's no mandatory deduction for it. It's just what they want to do with it in terms of the quality of that jump. First the lights go out, then it showers in here. It's just unbelievable.
And so is this guy. It wasn't perfect, but considering the technical program problems he's had in the past, he seems to be over a hump.
He should be very happy with that. He said after the qualifying round that he had so many flowers he just didn't know what to do with them. They wouldn't fit in his room.
And that's mostly...
He's going to be lucky to survive for the long program.
This is so unusual because the Japanese traditionally has such a reserved people, and to see this kind of outpouring of emotion for someone like Philippe is just amazing.
Well, obviously the Godfather has twigged with them. He's also the winner of the last 2 NHKs, so he's made quite an impression. And by the way, Marcus Christensen of Canada will be next to skate, but he's got quite a wait because they'll have to clear the ice. Andre Brunet is the coach of Philippe Candeloro, has been since he was 8 years of age, and Philippe says he's sort of a father figure. I think it's shaken up the judges because they're taking extra long. Well, now here the marks are about set to come up. And he'll like them. 5, 5, 6s and 7s. For the Olympic bronze medalist and definitely a gold medal candidate here. And the second set go up. First place ordinals for Philippe Candeloro. Next, more on what to look for in the men's technical from ISU judge Gene Semp in the Royal Bank judges seat. ISU judge Gene Semp.
In the men's technical program tonight, there are 8 required elements. It's a challenge to judge because while each of the elements must be considered according to its own strengths and weaknesses, specific deductions must be made for errors. For those of you marking at home with your Royal Bank scorecard, we're going to show you some examples of errors that might occur. While it's not possible to cover all examples, here are some that did occur during the earlier qualifying rounds. A fall after a solo jump, as in this triple axel, carries a deduction of 0.5. A 2-foot landing on a solo jump, as shown here, or a landing that is stepped out using 2 feet, has a deduction of 0.4. A lesser fault is to touch down slightly with the free foot on the landing, and then the deduction is 0.2. A touchdown with the hand is also 0.2. In the technical program, definite connecting steps must precede the triple jump. This adds to the difficulty. If there are no connecting steps beforehand, but instead just simple crosscuts, which sets up the jump and makes it easier to do, there's a deduction of 0.2. In the flying spins, the position in the air must be fully achieved, or a deduction of 0.1 to 0.3 applies. Here you see a good sit position, so there's no deduction. Here the sit is not well defined, so the deduction is appropriate. The deductions assigned to these errors come off the mark for required elements only. The second mark for presentation, which covers the artistic component of the program, is entirely independent, which is why sometimes you see large variances between the 2 marks. It goes without saying that during this part of the competition, a good program skated without errors will fare well.
Well, Gene, our judges' cards are ready, but we're not quite ready for Marcus Christensen of Canada yet as they continue to clear the ice after the skate of Philippe Candeloro. We'll be back with Marcus Christensen of Canada after this. We're back at the 94 Worlds and now set for Marcus Christensen of Canada. Although that is a tough act to follow. First the Candeloro skate and then the long wait during the cleanup has to be a little unsettling. Marcus 4th at the Canadians, and he got to make the trip when his friend and former training mate Kurt Browning of the Royal Glenora announced his retirement.
Well, I'm certain Marcus was disappointed in not making the Olympic team, but he was 10th place in last year's World Championship, so he is a contender in terms of that top 10 group. In his first element in his technical program, attempted triple flip double toe, and the triple flip was severely under-rotated.
Having a problem with his focus. Even on the spin there, that wasn't the quality that he can normally perform. Hopefully he can regroup here and finish it off in a clean way.
Sequence, a straight line step sequence. The men must execute 2 different step sequences in this technical program.
Good final double axel. He really seemed to get stronger towards the end of the program.
Well, as you mentioned, Barb, the program got stronger as he skated. Unfortunately, with the miss in the triple flip, in the midst of this competition, I don't know if he's going to be able to look optimistically at a top 10 finish. Here we're going to see that attempted combination. He sets up the triple flip, plants his toe, and you see him land forward and having to land on 2 feet to avoid falling.
Not only that, though, the difficulty factor with the triple flip. Most of these skaters are performing the triple axel. There's a look at the triple Lutz. It looked like it could have been a 2-foot landing.
And we'll have the marks for Marcus Christensen when we return to Makuhari. Welcome back to Japan. Marcus Christensen waiting for his marks, turned to Coach Jan Elmark and said, they don't know what to do with me. Let's see what they do. Ooh, 4.1. A couple of 4.1s on the board, up to 4.8.
But the one
and
that
a
really
3.5.
hurts is that 3.5, Chris. That's a judge that's definitely factored in a 2-footed landing on the Lutz for a total 0.9 deduction.
Ouch. Now the second set up to a 5.2 for artistic. He has 6th place ordinals, 12th from the United States, and he is overall in 7th spot. Here's Victor Petrenko's understudy from the Ukraine. Vyacheslav Загороднюк, the former World Junior champion, enjoying a fine comeback here. He surprised us with a silver medal performance at the European Championships, and he was 2nd in his qualifying pool.
But this is a skater that was really affected by the pro rule, because the Ukraine was only allowed to send 1 skater to the Olympics, and that was Victor Petrenko.
But he's still young. He's only 21, and I think this is a gentleman who's going to be in this for the long haul.
Great opening there with the triple axel double toe loop.
Now, he was a little lackadaisical. You could almost hear his toe touch on the landing of the double toe. And it's one thing to 2-foot and sort of try and hide it, but when you make it that obvious, the judge can sit there and go, that's a 2-footed landing. Little leaning forward on the landing of that triple Lutz, but it's okay. arms crossed like that in the landing position. Performance level of this particular skate. He was really out there. He had a great piece of music to skate to, and I felt he skated with it, up to it, delivered well.
Well, I think what I've noticed most about Vyacheslav, since we saw him 2 years ago, we didn't see him last year. He's back, but he's back with more confidence. He's got a much more mature look, and he looks stronger out there.
Well, I'm certain that training with Victor Petrenko, that type of performance level has to rub off when you see that in the rink every day. Here we're going to look at his opening combination, which is the triple axel. Great height, nice tight air position. He lands up into the double toe. Now watch his left leg on the follow through, right there. You can actually see snow against the blue in the baseboards.
It was pretty light, though. I don't know if the judges would have seen that. Here's the triple Lutz. He's a little leading,
but he hangs
but he pulls it off.
And we'll have Zagorodniuk's marks when we return. Vyacheslav Zagorodnyuk awaiting his marks with his coach Valentin Nikolaev, and nice set of required element marks, 5, 5, 6s, and 7s. Trains with Victor Petrenko and Oksana Bayul, and no doubt Petrenko's decision not to come had something to do with allowing his good friend Zagorodnyuk to come, and there are the second set of marks, 5 first-place ordinals for Zagorodnyuk. And it's a tie, actually, between he and Candeloro as we join Brian Williams with Marcus Christensen.
Thank you, Chris. Marcus, a little trouble with the triple flip.
Yeah, I was going into it. I seemed focused, and at the last, I guess, right before the jump, I lost my concentration, rushed it. I did a double and a half, double toe after that, and I guess that's just a major deduction, and there's not much I can do about it.
Now, you were strong after that. Tough getting back on track, getting focused?
I knew my job. I knew I had to keep going and push through it, and the rest of it was pretty good. I was happy with the rest of the program.
Marcus, thank you. Good luck tomorrow night.
No problem. Thanks.
Let's go back to Chris Cuthbert.
Thank you, Brian. The Olympic champion is warming up. Alexei Urmanov skate when we return. World Figure Skating Championships, Makuhari Event Hall in Japan, and here is the Olympic champion, Alexei Urmanov, the second youngest ever to win that title, 20 years of age. And the big question, how will he handle the role and the distinction that goes with the title? For some, it can be a burden. For others, something he can grow into.
Well, it's interesting, going into the Olympics, I don't think anybody took him seriously because he's been so inconsistent in the past.
Well, Barb, I have a hard time putting Alexei Urmanov in the same breath as Scott Hamilton or Brian Boitano, because it hasn't been since 1980 when Robin Cousins won the Olympics in Lake Placid that a man has won the Olympic title before winning a world championship.
Here's the triple axel. Oh, a little tight. He does a turn in between.
And that turn in between is going to cost him. There's going to be at least, actually it's not at least, it is a 0.2 deduction, automatic.
That was really hard to see if that was 2 foot. You have to check the replay.
Of course, the judges don't have that luxury.
Struggling out there. He hasn't been on top of one of these jumps yet in this technical program. Looks as though he's really tight out there.
Certainly not a winning performance out there.
I found it most uninspiring. He seemed to be very tight, very caught up in the job that he had to do and just couldn't relax enough to get that job done.
Well, you know, coming out of the Olympics, I'm sure that Alexei was just as surprised as everybody else that he had won, and those are big shoes to fill. Here's the triple axel, really tight position in the air, but he just can't get the free leg out in time, but he does do the second jump. So as Paul said, it only will be a 0.2 deduction.
And here's a look at his second jump. The triple Lutz gets up nice and straight. No, I think it's clean bar, but not exactly the prettiest of landings.
Marks for the Olympic champion when we return. We're back in Japan awaiting the marks of the Olympic champion, Alexei Urmanov. And just a cautionary note, he didn't skate well in qualifying and yet got first place marks in his pool. That's another nice benefit of being the Olympic champion in some ways. These will not be the best, though. Required element marks of 5.3 through 5.6. The Russian judge at 5.5 is the interesting one because he has a tie for the first place between Candeloro and Zahorodniuk, and now the second set of marks come up, and they are much better. The artistry marks again. 5.8 is the high mark on the board. 2 seconds, and for the most part, thirds, and that's where Urmanov sits at the moment. Backstage, Sebastien Britten of Canada awaits his world debut. He skated in a group with Brian Boitano, Victor Petrenko, and Kurt Browning at the Olympics, a long way from his early days in the sport.
The girls next door were skating, and I was going to see the show every year. And when I was 9, I don't know. I wanted to start 3 years ago, and every year I didn't want to do it because of what people were saying about guys skating and everything. But they came from the rink that year with chips and candies and stuff like that, and they said, look, if you do it, you're gonna get all this stuff, plus you're gonna do the show and everything. So I said, okay, I'm gonna do it. So the next year I went in skating to get these things and to do the show, and they had the show, but they didn't have anything, like no more chips and candies and anything. So I guess I continued skating for another reason than that. The reason why I'm skating is because I want to give emotions to people, and I like to perform. I like to do shows and stuff like that. So my short program is, I could do that number in a show and it would pass really well. So I just like to give big smiles and get crazy on the ice. I usually skate a control program, and if I miss something, I learned that in previous years that I tried to do it again and I missed it again. So I'm not doing that anymore. If I miss it, too bad. I don't do it again. I just leave it like that. If I just say it to myself, okay, you're gonna fall 5 times in your program, you're gonna miss everything, you're not gonna be able to breathe. If I say that, then I know it's not true. So I just make fun of myself, I guess, or the way I think. Being in the same group as Boitano, Browning, and Petrenko for the long program, I guess I gained a lot of confidence because I skated really good, and I was sick too, so I guess I proved to myself that I can deal with the stress and skate with anybody, I guess. So I gained a lot from the Olympics.
Well, we saw at the Olympics that artistry can be a deciding factor in the sport. It's Sebastian's strength. Let's see him in the technical program when we return to the '94 Worlds in Japan. Bring on the bronze medalist from Canada who skated with that great group at the Olympic Games, Boitano and Browning and Petrenko. What great experience for him there, and now he'll try and take that and use it here. He was 10th at the Olympic Games, 4th in his qualifying pool.
Well, certainly he's got a great spot to skate in his first World Championships, skating in the final group. And I think this is probably my favorite technical program in the competition. Just brilliant.
As he mentioned, he could take this one into a show without any hesitation.
The only thing that will hurt him a little here is that he won't be attempting a triple axel. He doesn't have that in his repertoire yet. So his combination will be less difficult than most of the other skaters. And here it is, a triple flip, double toe loop, no problem. Jump, triple Lutz. Oh, he was on a real lean. He had a problem with that in the warm-up as well. He had a fall. That's unfortunate. The opportunity to skate some shows with Sebastien last year in Seoul, Korea, and the one thing about him is he is a performer. Oh, and there's another mistake.
Well, so far he's looking at a 0.5 reduction, the fall and the landing of his triple Lutz. And with that turn on the end of that landing, he already started with a lower base mark than some of the other competitors because of the ease of the attempted jump combination.
Well, it's a great program, but today it just wasn't there.
Well, Barb, you mentioned the fact that he doesn't have a triple axel in his repertoire. He is working on that particular jump, and in his attempts to master it, he's been viewing a lot of tapes from various other skaters who have got it mastered. Here's his attempted Lutz, and you can see how far down his right side is. As soon as he toed in, he dropped his right side and was on a lean throughout the entire jump. Here we're going to look at the double axel. I didn't feel it got very much height. And on the landing, again, lack of strength on the landing to check and push the landing through. But when you look at the history of Canadian men at the World Championships in the last 10 years, it's exciting to see when someone as good as Kurt Browning moves on. We've got someone like Elvis to step right in, and then behind him someone as good as Sebastien. It just says great things for the development program at home.
He'll have to chalk this one up as a learning experience, though. 4.4, the low mark on the board from the American, up to a 4.8 from Ukraine for required elements. And we talk about artistry. This young skater has it, and the marks go up for presentation, but the best he has is a 9th place mark from Great Britain, overall 11th place. The Olympic silver medalist is getting set with Kurt Browning retired. Elvis Stojko carries Canada's hopes for gold all on his own.
I feel energized. I feel ready to go. I just needed some time the first couple days just to get away from everything, you know, separate myself for a little while, go read a book, because at home it's been a little nuts. The phone has been ringing off the hook, and people have been wanting this and that, and piecing me here, piecing me there. I'm like, wait a second. I got to do my job. My responsibility is on the ice, not here. So let me do my thing, and then after we can talk.
We'll return with Elvis's technical program in a moment. Welcome back to Japan as a big roar comes up from the crowd here for our national champion, Elvis Stojko, who celebrated his 22nd birthday yesterday, the Olympic silver medalist, the '93 world silver medalist, hoping to avoid a repeat of last year's technical problems at the Worlds, where he was in 5th place.
Well, all of Elvis's programs, here in the technical and the long program, opportunity to truly focus at the task at hand. You can tell by the look in his face that at this moment, he's really dialed in.
Triple axel. Yes.
A little difficulty in the landing of that spin.
We've definitely seen Elvis come out of his shell, though, this year. You never would have seen this from him a couple of years ago. I think it has to do with all the exhibition skating he's been doing.
Nice, clean double axel. That's the type of element that can sometimes get away in a skater. And I noticed as he was going into it, he just took a moment and said, okay, got to do it, check, and went.
We'll ask Kurt Browning about that. Triple Lutz. I'm just totally amazed at the ability that he has to focus, to really dial in. And I mean, no matter what kind of pressure is there, he really comes through. With Philippe Candeloro in first at this point, I'd have to say that the long program is going to be a battle between him and Elvis.
Elvis Stojko, and if he can win this technical program, he can leave Alexei Urmanov 3 spots behind him, which would be critical going into the free skate.
Well, I don't think there's any question of if he can win. I think he has won it.
Here we're going to see the one element that Elvis had a little bit of trouble. He had trouble centering it. You see him had to open up with his arms to get his balance before pulling back into that back sit spin position.
That's a minor mistake, though.
See Doug Lee's reaction. Ushi Kessler excited about the quality of the skate. Excellent performance.
He continues to amaze me.
Thanks, sir. Thanks.
Well, I must confess, I haven't seen Frogs in Space skated that well before.
Hi, Mark. Hi, Aaron. I got to make sure I say that. Amazing.
Doesn't want to leave anything to chance after what happened at the Olympics, and
Hi,
he did his job today.
Hi, Margaret.
Hello, here we go, Liz.
Well,
Hi, Barry. Sorry, Bob.
You would think that he would have more pressure on him here because there are more expectations now. Kurt is gone, but he seems to think that there is less pressure now because the field has opened up. It gives him more space.
There is the 93 world champion.
Well, it certainly provides all of these men with the hope that on any given day they can come out and take this title. But what Elvis has got going for him in spades is his consistency. He just seems to be able to come out here and consistently deliver what's required on any given day.
And I'm sure that has something to do with his martial arts background.
Wonder what score Kurt gave him there. He seemed busy with the pencil as we await the judges, and again, a long wait here.
Well, I can't imagine why, because there's no doubt that this was the performance of the evening.
Here's another look at that triple axel. Great head. And I love the way his head is going, looking up in the air.
Here are the required element marks. 5.9 from the American judge, 5.7s and 5.8s the rest of the way. And now the presentation marks will come up, and there's a 5.9 from Great Britain, so that's a nice sign. The artistic marks just about as good, and 9 first-place ordinals for Elvis Stojko, the leader. And so Elvis is first heading into the long program. Candeloro second, Zahorodniuk third. The Olympic champion is in 4th place, and France has 2 in the top 5. As for the other Canadians, Sebastien Britten 12th, Marcus Christensen is 16th. Let's join Brian Williams with the leader after the technical program.
All right, Chris, Elvis, congratulations. Tremendous program.
Thank you.
After you nailed that triple axel, you seem to be in 7th heaven out there.
Well, that's one of the most important parts of the program, getting the combination down. If you don't get that, then you pretty much don't have the ammunition to pull yourself up to where you want to be. And after that, pretty much everything just flowed after that, kept it constant, make sure I'm patient with every element and not rush anything. And after that, just felt great. Speaking of flowing, I watched your program with Jean Semp. She said your footwork sequences were especially strong tonight. You seem to enjoy those the most. Well, I think that what Ushi and I have been working on is just basic skating and the basic concept of the blade and how it moves on the ice. And after we've worked on that, the concept, you can detail more and brush stroke more with the ice and get more ideas. You add that to music and the finesse and the enjoyment of it, and then the footwork just flows out of that. And that's a great part for me because it joins the whole program together, and I love doing it. Talk to me about the camaraderie. You got a sign from Kurt Browning when you came right down here to the end of the ice. You looked up at him. Yeah, I was coming down the ice, and I knew it was basically the end, and I looked up, and I saw Kurt, and he gave me a thumbs up, so I gave it back to him. And it's been feeling different this week without him here, but, you know, I'm out of the shadow now and have my own spotlight, but I'm pretty much at home. You've got your own spotlight indeed. Quad tomorrow night? Yes, definitely, it's in. All right, good luck tomorrow night. Elvis Stojko goes for gold. Up next, the pairs featuring Brasseur and Eisler, Soleil and Turner, and Sargent and Wirtz as we continue CBC's coverage from Japan.
Makuhari Event Hall, we're through the men's technical program. Great news for Canada. Elvis Stojko is the leader. He's been called the best technical skater in the world and proved it once again today, and he gets great news in the draw. Tomorrow he will skate after his main rivals, Philippe Candeloro and Alexei Urmanov, the Olympic gold medalist in the long program. And with their thoughts, let's join Barb Underhill and Paul Martini.
Thanks, Chris. Well, the pressure of being Olympic champion proved too much for Alexei Urmanov. Now, it's not impossible for him to win, but he must win the free skate, and Elvis must place at least 3rd, which seems like a very unlikely scenario. Now, Elvis came through again with one of the only clean technical programs here of the day, and it sets up a great long program battle between him and the crowd favorite, Philippe Candeloro. That will be tomorrow. Tonight, Paul, the pairs long program.